Hello everyone, welcome to Melissa's Musings. As you guys know, I am Melissa Steele, real estate agent extraordinaire, and host of Melissa's Musings, and I'm so excited to come to you guys with all the dirty deets about Ellen, because I had like a next level out of bodily experience on Thursday. I literally woke up on Friday with slight chest pains, and I think it's because I overexerted my body and potentially hyperventilated more than once. So I am a true fan of Ellen. I actually love Ellen as a person, Ellen's show. I love everything that I know about Ellen and everything that she stands for as far as what I have learned about her. I truly am just so inspired by her life story. I'm inspired by what she came from. I'm inspired by what she's had to go through to become the person that she is. I like how this piece of art kind of has it seeming almost like a little, it's like my little shark hat right there. That looks cute. But I just so love what Ellen embodies, what she stands for, who she be in this world. I just love it. So when I had a friend call me out of the blue like 3 weeks ago, she was like, "Hey Mel, I know that it's hard for you to take a full day off of work, but I got tickets to the Ellen show." I was like, yes, I don't even care what the details are, but yes, it's happening. And we did a bunch of research because she got standby tickets. So for those of you who know Ellen, love Ellen, you may be like us where you sign up online and do standby tickets. Couple tips and tricks for that. Supposedly, I'm about to start doing it from John's email address because supposedly a man's email address is more likely to like get opened and read. Some other tips and tricks I'm going to share with you, but we basically learned that we got the standby tickets. We figured out who was going, and then we just started researching how to get into Ellen using your standby tickets. So there's a few different ways you can line up super early. So one of our friends, Tracy, shout out to Tracy, well done Trace, she got there the night before and got in line like right around 7:15, 7:30ish, which was a game changer for us because we hit almost 4 hours of traffic coming from San Diego going to LA, and the studio is in Burbank, so literally took us almost 4 hours, like 3 hours and 45 minutes. We left here right at the crack of dawn, right at 6 a.m., and got there almost at 10. So we're so grateful that Tracy was able to get up there the night before because realistically, she got in line at 7:30. So for those of you who might be looking to get in line with your standby tickets at like 9, 10, 11, there were a lot of people there, and I am so grateful that Tracy got there at 7:30. We'll just put it at that. If we had gotten there and stood in line when we arrived around 10, we would have absolutely, certainly not gotten in. 100%. We were actually the last 4 to sit together. Thank you, universe. So, anyways, gearing up for the taping on Thursday, we were all manifesting, all putting the intentions out there. So there was a lot of mental work that went into play, but we'll talk about that in a different musing. There was also a lot that we researched leading up to it. So we knew to get in line super early. We also knew that dress code mattered. So we all color coordinated. We all wore solid shirt colors that matched and complemented each other because our goal was to get on camera. And one of the things that they advised the standby audience is to not wear black and not wear white and to look good. So we took that to heart. We really looked good. We looked excellent. We showed up in an area of excellence. We all looked like we were going to a really nice backyard barbecue, for example. But we were all wearing solid colors, which would pick up awesome on the video cameras, and we went prepped. We also learned that there's only, I believe, 350 in the studio. So as people started to get called in, we were able to kind of deduce where we were at in the lineup. After the first 4 groups got called in, though, I honestly started to get really nervous. I was like, oh no, they're already, I think it was 180 people had been called in. I was like, this isn't looking good. They haven't even gotten to standby yet, but we were patient. We kept waiting, and then they ended up starting to call our numbers. What was interesting is we got number 273 through 276. They did not call the numbers in order. So they got from 150 to 180, and they kept calling in groups of 3. So they were 150 to 180, come on in. 180 to 210, come on in. And they would bring a whole group of 30 across the street and into the studio. So I was like, oh no, if they call 273, there's no way we're ever going to get into the studio. If they go in numerical order, right? We're never going to get called in. Because the way it works is that there's VIP, they get taken in first. Then there's the guaranteed ticket holders, which from my understanding, the only way to get a guaranteed ticket is if you've shown up for a standby before and have not gotten in. So if you show up for standby and you don't get into the Ellen show, you will actually get a guaranteed ticket for a future time. So most of the people that I had talked to that were that had a guaranteed ticket in their possession had already been to at least one standby prior, where they'd stood in line and then tried to get in and couldn't get in. So ultimately, we're just like all sitting there manifesting that we get into this using our standby ticket, because it was the first time we've ever done standby. And as we're sitting there waiting, I'm like fighting down all this impatience and fighting down all of this like, oh, are we going to get in anxiety? And they're like, I forget what numbers exactly it was called, but it was like 258 through 281 or something. And it was like a group of 30 numbers. And I was like, oh, our number's in there. So I was like, does this mean we get called in? And all my friends were like, oh my goodness, does this mean we go in? We had no idea, but they shuffle you in groups of 30. So I was like, oh, this is amazing news. Like we're one step closer, right? So we're all holding our standby tickets and we get taken into this long hallway, and we all sit in the hallway, and they basically start bringing in groups from the other groups that they had taken. So we're all sitting in the hallway, and I was like asking everybody around us, I was like, has anybody gotten to this point? Like, does anybody know? Does this mean we're in? And everybody was like, I have no idea. They kind of keep you in the dark. So we're all like wondering if we get in. We're all like anxious and very excited. For those of you who watched our story, we were very excited leading up to getting in. And then she was basically like, everybody in this row stand up and immediately turn your phones off. So I was like, oh my goodness, this has to mean we're going in. So I immediately turned my phone off. They start like patting us down. There's a lot of security, of course. And then they shuffle us in one long row of 30 into the studio. So I'm like, wait, are we getting into the studio? Is this the studio? Are we in the studio? And so I was like all excited, of course. Me and my friends are like, oh, did we get in? So we walk into the studio, and to our left are like 6 seats, and I'm scanning the crowd, and literally like there's no 2 seats left together except for this row of 6, and there's like 2 or 3 people in front of us. So they're like, how many people in your group? And the person in front of us is like 2, so they shuffle those 2 off to somewhere in the crowd, and they're like 3, and they shuffle those people off to somewhere in the crowd. And then I walk up and I'm like 4, and she was like, last 4 seats. And I was like, yes. So we ended up being able to sit together. Side note, it's really important if you are in line for Ellen, side note that we learned, and they start drawing you in, basically like how many are in your party, say 4, but I'm totally willing to go alone, because that's something that we had all prepped ourselves for. The people who are like 4, but we want to stay together, a lot of times they'll pull groups of 1, 2, or 3 from behind you to fill in the gaps of the crowd. They said that if you're in a group of 4, or 3, be like, we're in a group of 3, but totally willing to go separate if we need to. So just a little side note trick that we learned for that too. So we had all discussed it. We were all prepared to, if they had started to pull us off one by one, to be like, yes, we're in a group of 4, but we're totally down to go by ourselves, because it is not a guarantee that you'll sit together, and it's also not a guarantee that you're going to get into the studio. So basically you're doing everything you can just to get into the studio for the experience of being there for the taping. So they draw us in, and I'm like elated because the 4 of us sit boom, 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 last row, but the last 4 seats together. And I'm like, oh my God, we're sitting together. Ah! And so they start, then the directors, once everybody's seated, the directors start walking you through the process. And it is very much a production. So I was totally expecting this, but for those of you who may not be, it's very produced. So you do a lot of clapping, a lot of like, woo! It's amazing, like that video. But a lot of what was interesting is they don't show you a lot of the clips as they're happening and as they're filming. And you get to like really do it up, right? They took a couple things a few times. They'd be like, that wasn't enough energy, take it from the top. And we'd be like, woo! So what was really interesting is, so the show itself was amazing, a really neat experience. There was a few things that I absolutely loved about the overall experience. One, how organized and seamless it was. Even though I had no clue what was going on the entire time, everything was so well produced. It was a well-oiled machine. So they would pull you in, everything was organized. Like anytime I had a question, they were easily able to answer it. Overall, like a really positive experience, I would say, in terms of an organizational level. And then 2, what I absolutely loved the most, what resonated with me the most about the entire experience, was that the person that I thought Ellen was, the story I've created for myself about who Ellen is, she fit that perception on camera, on and off camera. So we all get to see Ellen do her thing on a daily basis on camera. But what was really powerful for me is after the camera turned off, she was still herself. So she still seemed to be communicating effectively and kindly with the people around her. She addressed the crowd when she first came in and when she exited. And what I thought was really powerful, actually, my favorite part of the entire day, my favorite part of the entire experience, was experiencing Ellen. And after they unmiked her, basically after the whole show was done, she basically grabs a regular mic and she addresses the audience directly. And she was like, hey, the amount of love and appreciation and gratitude that I feel from up here is something that I know that all of you can feel in the seats. And it's something I empower you to take out into the world. And I believe in being kind and loving to other people. And basically, she used her platform and her stage to spread her message, which I thought was so powerful and so incredible from somebody like that. And basically, you know, having that experience of her leading up to this point, right? Basically, me being so enamored by her as a person, and then seeing her fulfill that role on the screen in her production and then off the screen as she addressed us directly, spread her message, and really used the stage that's available to her, right? The platform that she's created for herself to continue spreading that message. And that was truly, honestly, the taping of the episode was amazing. It was hilarious. The special guest was amazing. You'll have to watch June 14th. They actually recorded segments of 2 episodes. So we will likely be in June 14th episode and June 4th episode. So mark your calendar. And there was actually I did something that is not typical for me. So in between the recordings of the 2 episodes, so they had the full recording of the June 14th episode, which we were there for, and I'm so excited to see. And I think you can literally see because we were in the last row, so I'm pretty positive you can see my head like poking around at certain points because I was so determined to get on camera. And during the artist, I was like, Trace, wave your hands. The camera guys are coming over. So I was like kind of a ham for the cameras. With good reason, right? I have the chance to be on TV. So I was a bit of a ham for the cameras, so keep an eye out for both those episodes. But in between the recording of the episodes, they actually asked for volunteers. So they had a dance competition, and they were like, volunteer 1. And some girl stood up, and she danced. And I thought to myself, if she can do it, I can do it. And Therese was next to me the whole time like, are you going to do it? Are you going to dance? You got to dance. You got to dance. And I was like, oh, I feel so anxious about it. And then he was like, who's going to be dancer number 2? And I don't know what came over me, but I was like, it's me! It's me! And I started jumping up and down like a crazy person. And literally he was like, you in the back row, dancer number 2. And so from that point on, I feel like I blacked out. I don't really know what I danced. It was something like this and something like this. I did the shopping cart for sure, and the crowd loved it. I was like, and the crowd went wild. But ultimately, did my dance moves. I feel like I blacked out the whole thing. I couldn't really tell you what I did, but apparently it was epic. As I approached my seat, the girls who were sitting next to me, so it was like the 4 of us, our group, and then two girls who were randoms but ended up being friends. They were like, that was amazing! You did such a good job! You're gonna win the contest! I didn't win the contest. I actually don't know what they won. I don't think anything, or maybe a t-shirt, but regardless, the experience for me was out of body, next level. I would have never imagined myself dancing in front of an entire crew of TV cameras plus the 400 person audience. It was like petrifying and amazing all at the same time. And then as we were leaving, literally like security guards and people from the crowd were like, I don't know how you didn't win the dancing competition, but you were by far the best dancer. And I was like, oh my goodness, this will be an experience. So, I'm very hopeful I make it to TV dancing like a goon so I can absolutely see what I looked like as I was entertaining the audience. I'm sure it's a great clip. But anyways, overall experience to Ellen was next level amazing. The tips and tricks that we learned can definitely support you guys as you are trying to get in with your own standby tickets. Like definitely getting there way early, color coordinating with your group, being present to the color coordination. There were a lot of people who were dressed in black and white because most of my clothes are black and white. I realized after, as I was like trying to choose my outfit, how many patterns I have, how much black and white I have, and I was like, to find a solid color. One of the girls in our group actually like went and got a solid colored yellow shirt. It was, Maria, you have to go, honestly, like next level, one of the best experiences ever. Honestly, I had like a phenomenal day. Such an exceptional experience to be able to see like from TV crew to how much of a production it is. It's kind of mind-blowing to me that they do that every day for the taping of her show. It's like hundreds of people show up with standby tickets, hundreds of people are signing up. Like, everybody loves Ellen, right? So overall, amazing experience. I would highly, highly, highly recommend doing so. Hey, maybe you could visit me as you try and see her show. But yeah, definitely try and apply for standby tickets. Don't have the mentality like, oh, I'll never get in, because maybe you will. Maybe you'll get lucky like us. And 10/10 would absolutely do it again. Like, I plan on, it's now on my to-do list to, as a part of my process and a part of my kind of like weekly to-dos, I really want to be applying to the show more often, because I truly like loved going. It was such an exceptional, fun experience. And I had such a great time with my girlfriends too. John, I got to give him an amazing shout out, because he held it down with work stuff and was just such a champ as we, you know, as work and everything. The entire team was rocking it on Thursday, and I was completely off the grid. So my day from start to finish was such a beautiful, amazing, fabulous experience. I love, love, love Ellen. Give me some hearts if you also love Ellen. She was so next level and amazing. And really, I think the thing that stood out to me the most, what resonated with me the most, is that I can only hope that one day I have a platform as big as she does, right? Something that has such a massive impact, so much expansion, so much ability to touch other people, right? And to see her use that platform, not only as she's recording the show for millions of people to watch, but to use that platform offline, to literally have her mic taken off and be like, wait, can I have a mic? And to address us as the audience, as human beings and as people, to appreciate and love us for showing up for her. And then to encourage us to take that appreciation and love out into the world. It was just such a powerful, powerful experience to be in the same space as Ellen. So hope this was helpful for anybody who might be trying to get onto the Ellen show themselves. It was next level. Would highly recommend. I want to be there again myself. It's so amazing. But I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Had an amazing long weekend. I'm ready to crush it this week. I hope you are too. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.